gentlemen, moving forward, we have our next keynote address speaker who will be telling us more on ONDC, the next disruptor of e-commerce. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome in. Let's have some applause for him. Mr. Phaneesh S. Prakash, Business Head, Porter for Enterprise, Porter. More welcome, sir.
Good morning, everyone. So glad to have you all here. Thanks to Kamikaze Media and Phaneesh, of course, for getting us all under one roof. I see a lot of FMCG experts, stalwarts, and incidentally, I had a very interesting conversation today with Manoj, who is from Kapiva, and he said, there are no margins in online business. There are only margins in offline, and I guess it might reverberate with all of you all who are present here. And I'm here to dispel that notion. So, which is why I mentioned that ONDC is the next disruptor for e-commerce. How many of you know about ONDC? How many of you, understand what this is about? I see a few hands here and there. All right. So sure. So then I guess my brief, 10 minutes here will add a lot of value is what I hope. Just to let you know, I'm not going to talk about Porter here. You might or may not know about it. I'll just spend the next maybe 15 seconds telling about Porter. Porter is India's largest intra-city logistics solutions provider. We are present in about 19 cities and 2 countries. We are already live in Dubai, and our aim is to, and our mission is to, transform, deliveries, and with our caption, delivery hai ho jayega. So that is about Porter. Now what is ONDC? I mean, if I have to explain ONDC, I guess Raj last time had mentioned it. Raj Saxena from Loginext had explained it very well. He mentioned that ONDC is to e-commerce what TCP/IP is to internet, and definitely what is TCP/IP, what is SMTP? SMTP and all, they are all protocols. Now what these protocols do is, especially the simple mail transfer protocol, which is SMTP, you can use any email domain to send mails to anyone, as long as there is an @ and there is .com, .in, any particular thing. So x@y.com is enough to make a protocol, and you can send emails to each other. So similarly here, ONDC is able to create an ecosystem where anyone using their own tech stack needs to be compliant to the protocol, and they will be able to start doing business on it. I head to the next slide. This is what ONDC is about. So there are 4 key players in ONDC. You have the buyer apps, who are the people who generate demand. These are the well-known apps, which is seen towards your left. And towards your right are the suppliers. These are the players who are able to provide their goods to the buyer. And then to connect the buyer and the seller, you have payment gateways, because this is an e-commerce transaction. You need internet, you need a smartphone or a laptop, and you need a payment gateway to make the process go through. And then the key ingredient in this mix are, of course, the logistics service providers. And there are many players who are ONDC compliant, and all of these players are in some way finishing the entire value chain of ONDC. Now, I'll probably cover what's going on and why is it that ONDC has come into the picture. ONDC was started by the Ministry of Commerce, and Mr. T. Koshi is heading that. He's very close to Mr. Piyush Goyal, who is the Commerce Minister himself. And the stark difference lies here, where you have 53.5% of the population having access to internet. Now, in a country with over 130 crore population, and you are seeing that yes, you have nearly 70 crores having access to internet. Why isn't there so much e-com, right? After 2013, after the advent of 3G, you just saw smartphone revolution coming on, and it has proliferated everywhere. So you find that almost 42.5% are having to some smartphone or the other. A large majority of them are at the lower end of the spectrum, but still, they do give a connectivity to the internet and to the main apps that are out there. Digital payment users are a smaller subset, and when I say digital payment users, definitely I talk about UPI, which is a revolution by itself. We are seeing a lot of international players trying to espouse UPI because that is something which has transformed our digital journey or digital payments journey. And of course, you have other means of doing digital payment. Yet, and this is where the stark difference lies, only 8% of the population are e-com users. It's a paltry 70 billion of a 3 trillion economy that we have out here. Now, I'll show you, a lot of news clippings that has come, and definitely so. I guess there has been a lot of buzz that has been created among ONDC. A majority of them are in the food tech segment. Even now, if I have to tell you some numbers, we are having almost 90% of the traffic that is coming in are into food category. The remaining 10%, and it is ever increasing, are your FMCG products. So this is one of the things, headlines that we have seen. It has potential to create about 100 billion in economic value. Where is 7 billion? Where is 100 billion? I mean, that's a huge increase. You have currently about 20,000 orders are transacted on ONDC per day. This is something that would, probably go up to 5x just in a matter of 6 months. That's a humongous scale. And then you have different merchants that are out there. Over 150,000 merchants are online. But do we have the large brands out there? We'll see. They are not just going to be in B2C, they are entering B2B networks as well. Financial services and retails are a part of it. Digital commerce is being enhanced. And this is the biggest news of all. We find that PepsiCo has joined ONDC, and they are not, already, yes, through sellers they would be selling their products, the Lays and the soft drinks of the world. But they are tying up directly with ONDC, having all the different parts of the supply chain and directly selling through ONDC. That is a very powerful statement that shows the resilience of this network. Now, why would someone want to go into ONDC? So I'll probably talk about 3 key players in the e-commerce market. You have your own e-commerce marketplace. You have your own websites, something like an ITC store. Then you have marketplaces, your Amazons, the Flipkarts of the world, and then you have ONDC. Now, the colors indicate favorability, with red being unfavorable, red to amber being somewhat favorable, and amber being quite favorable, and green being very favorable. So, in your own website, since it's your proprietary thing, you own the cataloging system. You can put whatever catalog or the various categories of product that you have on your website. You can show it in any which way you want. Can you do that in a marketplace? I don't think so. Can you do it in ONDC? Well, ONDC is democratic in nature. I won't say that it has a complete favorability in cataloging control, but definitely there is a good amount of freedom that is given to you to list your product, and there is no favor to anyone. There is nothing that will put one's catalog over the other. If we look at the cost that is there to bring the traffic, well, own e-commerce, you'll have to do everything. You'll have to invest in a marketing team, you'll have to invest in digital market, you'll have to invest in search engine optimization. Well, that's costly. That takes a lot of money. In a marketplace, well, it's not as much, but still you need to play the marketplace to list your products before anyone else. And that's where competition comes in. On ONDC, since you already have well-established players like Paytm, PhonePe through their PIN code app, who are already generating tons of users, their DAUs, that is the daily active users, are, if not in millions, tens of millions. You don't need to attract anyone. All that you need to do is to be present, and people will come in, search for your product or see your product and buy it. How about supply chain control? Very favorable in your own e-commerce segment. You know what you need to do, how you need to dispatch, what you need to do. In a marketplace, well, you need to send it to their warehouse. After that, how they dispatch is completely on them. In ONDC, it gives you the best of the two worlds. You are able to control your supply chain as well. Delivery tags in your own, at least from a consumer point of view, I know that I have had a pretty patchy experience when I have ordered through, let's say, brand's own e-commerce website. The delivery tags hasn't been that great. Marketplace is amazing. Maybe not so favorable across the smaller marketplaces, but one of the biggest names, they virtually revolutionized the next day delivery, NDD, and brought it into the picture. ONDC too helps you, choose as per your requirement, and that's where I'm going to come in later. In terms of margin impact, well, own e-commerce, you're avoiding the entire supply chain. You're bypassing literally 2-3 chains, and so therefore you will have definitely a good margin accretion towards you. Marketplace, not that much so. And in ONDC as well, there is no, apart from a small 1.3% buyer finder fee that you need to give it to the buyer app, you don't have to give anything. The margins are, or whatever the margin accretion is, not in tens of percents. In terms of logistics support, well, I'm going to come to that in the next slide. I would say that in own e-commerce, you have to invest, you have to do integrations with multiple logistic players in order to ship it. You have different aggregators, you have ShipRocket, and most of you would have heard of them who do it, but then again, you need to go ahead and integrate. And then you are at the mercy of all their partners, network participants who are there. In marketplace, well, logistic support is completely given, so that's not an issue. When we come to ONDC, what is the best part about it is that all these logistic players, whether it is a courier, it's an LTL, it's a PTL, it's a hyperlocal player, or a same-day delivery player, all of them are already integrated onto the ONDC platform. You don't have to invest extra time, effort, and technology bandwidth to integrate with all of us. And it is a single-click model. The moment you are on ONDC, you find that you are able to choose between different players, necessitating your requirement of how you want to send that particular product to your customer. So that's what this shows. You are having a dashboard, you have a parcel that needs to be shipped, and you can just choose any logistic provider to ship your product. So in short, I would want to just summarize with this one point. ONDC was built on something called as a beacon protocol, and it has democratized at least the mobility market, and it was started by the Kochi mobility market, and we have seen that it has a huge power when it comes to democratizing the e-commerce model as well. Change is coming, and let's embrace the change now. Sure. So we of course, I mean, in Porter we ran a quiz, and we wanted to just call out and probably you can come and collect the goodies from our stall. We are available in stall 7 and 13, and these are the winners of the quiz. If you haven't played the quiz, well, we still have day 2 with us. It's just the start of the day. You can come and scan our QR code, attempt it, and come. Incidentally, I hope some of you were paying attention. The vehicles of Porters were changing in every slide. If not, well, I'm telling you here. We wanted to have an impromptu quiz out here, which will help you, which will help you win those goodies here as well. If any one of you who were eagle-eyed could come up on the stage and help us know, or help everyone know, which of these vehicles. A, the first one is a small mini truck, a chota hathi kind. B is a two-wheeler, and C is a 20 feet vehicle. Please.
I request you please be on stage. I request Mr. Harish Bhatta to please come forward and present the memento from Kamkazi B2B Media and Welspun One Logistics Parks. This token of appreciation from my side.